Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Tom Perumian, WWL First News. From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Art Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning. Happy 2023. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Just call 260-1870 or text us the Oakland Heart Talk and Text line at 260-1870. Morning, Albert.
Morning, Doug. How are you?
Good. I missed the games yesterday. I was at a Louisiana pro-life function with actually Tim Tebow. Gave a great talk, and but I missed it. But when I checked the score once. Seattle was winning 17-16. Then I heard they got blown out in the second half, Seattle. And then I checked the score with Jacksonville. It was 27-0. Jacksonville and San Diego. And I said, well, no use keeping up with that game. And when I got home and watched SportsCenter, I was like, what happened here?
Yeah. Tale of two halves. It was
both games, huh?
Yeah, both games, exactly. So I didn't do a fantasy. I mean, I did a fantasy league this year with a guy, but I just didn't have time to keep up with it. And so he was kind of doing everything for me. But now I'm doing a fantasy playoff league, which is actually a whole different kind of mindset, because what you try to do is you want players on teams that are going to keep playing. So you want to pick a winner, and you rest on that winner. A lot of teams, a lot of guys that were drafting were picking teams from picking Los Angeles to win, and so that you got to
right.
You want your team to play 3 or 4 games to get the most shots at scoring points. But San Francisco lit it up last.
Well, it's interesting. It's a very interesting thing in the NFL. You had Sam Darnold, who was number 1 pick in the draft, who's may or may not be in the league in 3 or 4 years. You've got Kyler Murray, who's just stinking it up in Arizona. You have Josh Rosen, who 3 years ago was a top 10 pick. You have Zach Wilson, who last year was the 2nd pick in the draft, who will probably be out the league in 2 years. And then now you have Brock Purdy, who's the last pick in the draft with the 49ers, who's playing like he is, a first-round pick. So it's interesting. You can't It's hard. There's no science to determine whether a college football player's skill set will translate to the NFL. A lot of times.
Right.
So, but Purdy just manages the game, makes good decisions, processes the game well, and good athletic ability, but not as he's not a a Lamar Jackson type, as far as having that. So it's just sort of interesting that you can, hopefully there's a quarterback out there like that for the Saints, but
yeah, you can be asking for some more. Yeah, you can bet.
Please.
The sad part is we are 1 play away. The Saints are 1 play away from hosting Dallas in
Monday night,
the playoffs.
Monday night, yeah.
Well, Monday night.
We always say this beginning of the year, that the difference.
Ingram stays in bounds and falls forward instead of stepping out of bounds before the first. What a bonehead play! You try and run the clock out. He's been playing football since he was 6, and everybody in the field knew that. Everybody in the audience knew that. Just fall forward, stay in bounds. They got to waste the timeout, and you make a first down. You can kneel it down and win the game against Tampa Bay, and you're hosting a playoff game. That's pitiful. That's just, and you hate to harp on one play because there are a thousand plays, but the reality of it is you just don't do that stupid bonehead move. Everything else stays the same, and the Saints are hosting a team, a Dallas team who's hot and cold.
Oh, Dak.
They made
Dak can beat anyone. He could lose to anyone.
Yeah.
Well,
and Romo was like that. Romo was like that when he got to the playoffs. He never could, he never could crack the egg and get to the Super Bowl.
Well, I think when the season starts, we always say the difference between 10 and 7, 7 and 10 is 3 or 4 plays, and that proved to be, prophetic this year. And so, but what do you think about Dennis Allen coming back?
I think Dennis Allen is a great defensive coordinator. He's not a head coach. He's proved that already. They gave him a second chance. He's not the kind of guy that I think commands respect or the type of respect necessary. You got a lot of players that are, I got a hangnail. I think I'm going to sit out for a few games, and I've got to, no, you've got to have a guy like Sean Payton. The season he was out, the big picture of him in the practice facility saying, "Do your job." He's the kind of guy that's going to get back in their face, and that's what you need. You need somebody that can talk to these young kids, because that's what they are. I mean, they're 20-year-olds mostly, and that can talk to these kids and say, "Hey, look, this is what you got to do. When you want to be successful in your career, we want to be successful in this team." And I don't think Dennis Allen has that. I really don't.
Well,
I think he made the right decision at quarterback. I think Dalton played a better than average season. His stats were great. He missed some things here and there, but again, he was playing with a up offensive line. He's not mobile. He's not going to scramble and get you extra yards. But I think I think he was better than Jameis. I'm not sure what Jameis's future is.
Well, I thought Dalton was good between the 20s, but inside the 20, he was a little left to be desired. I think something happened with Jameis Winston that was internal, because it just doesn't make a lot of sense that you would bring him in, sort of groom him, and then just let him sit for the rest of the year. I think there's something. I think they made a decision based on some factor that probably will not be disclosed. I don't know what it is. I mean, it just practice habits.
Yeah, but you know what?
Accurate. I don't know.
You would think that if that was the case, you would have had more. He would have had a worse attitude. Whenever they showed him on the sidelines, he was into it.
Right, yeah.
He was cheering his teammates on. He was positive. You know what I mean? He wasn't pouty.
He wasn't. He was. To his credit, he was that. But
and all accounts, everybody says he's a great guy. I mean,
there was just something they saw that they said he's not. He doesn't have a future.
And that's
here.
probably more like it.
Yeah, and
that's probably that about him. That just
But
he never turned the corner.
Right. Well, when I saw the San Diego score last night, first thing that came to mind was there will probably be a new vacancy in San Diego, and
we're getting 2 first-round draft choices, right? That's what Chucky got. That's what the Oakland got for him. So I think that's the starting point for a sought-after coach.
Well, that's for the I think it'll be first-round pick plus, but San Diego's a job he would take. His daughter went to Pepperdine. I think she's out in the West Coast, and I think that's a job. Plus, San Diego's not really ever won, and so it'd be similar to the Saints, where you would take a franchise that's been mediocre and take it to the next level. So that's a real possibility.
And to bring local politics into this, why would he or his wife ever want to come to the murder capital of the world? Why would you ever want to come and worry about your car getting broken into at the Superdome? It just
Well, that and a lot of businesses.
It factors into to the conversation.
Well, that and a lot of other businesses, not just the Saints, but I think most businesses.
Well, I understand. Yeah. But so you would think that there's that's
that
part
look.
of the consideration.
Well,
I want to go live there, a city that's just falling apart.
We went to a function, to the Rivergate not the Rivergate, the convention center last night, and the big discussion was, where are you going to park to be safe? That was the primary discussion for a lot of the, people who were talking. Right. Where can we talk? Can we get from the parking lot to the Rivergate? I'm flashing back to the Morial Convention Center safely. That was this discussion, and and there's a mayor that isn't doing anything about it. Which, incidentally, if you're in favor of the recall, go to nolalatoya.org, and if you feel bullied after signing up for the recall, call the Secretary of State Compliance Office at 1-800-722-5302. So if you like the way the city is going, crime, economic infrastructure, drainage, if you like it, don't worry about recall. Just forget about it. But if you want something better, do this recall petition and get her out of here. Okay, you're wearing a Pelicans shirt right now. I can see it in the video. So I see that. Which I know you have an assessment on the Pelicans, and we hadn't had the big three play together. I mean, we've only had one, and we're 2-2 on this last 4 games on a very difficult road trip, and 9 games over 500. What's your assessment of the Pelicans at the halfway mark?
I think that Willie Green should be coach of the year. He's still managing to win games, and again, when politics gets into sports, people get a little turned off by it. And politics has jumped into basketball in the last few years, and it's in your face. But I got to tell you, this Pelicans team is everything that is right about the NBA. They are spiritual. They play together. You can tell that everybody on that team just really loves each other. The locker room is a great place for them. When Jackson Hayes, and he's playing a little bit more recently, but he was not playing for a while, but he's on the sidelines high-fiving and cheering, first one up on the bench, clapping and cheering his teammates on and cheering his team on. In just a short time, Willie Green's built a little community of players there, and they play hard. And the beauty of what's going on right now is that these guys are getting game time minutes. I'm always a proponent of that. The more of that you get, the better you're going to be. It's better than any practice you're ever going to do when you're playing in a game time situation. And all of these bench players are getting a lot of minutes. And so when the time comes, where we do get our players back, our starters back, we're not going to lose a beat. I mean, we're going to be just as good or almost as good when the subs come in, and then moving us forward. And so you got to lead maybe about 4, 5, 6 points. Your subs come in, they're going to be much better than their subs. We can typically extend the lead. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Pelicans go.
They do a great.
They go 11 deep. Yeah, they go 11 deep, and it's not good that Zion's hurt. It's not good that Ingram's hurt. But the only, the other side of that is they will have fresher legs when you're going to need that in April and May.
Yep.
That's the only other. You want them healthy, but
especially if they go deep into the playoffs. There's a lot more games, and they're usually they're back to back. They're it's a tough road once you get past the season. If you go deep, you better have the stamina and the bench players, which I think we did.
And C.J. McCollum, I was trying to think, who does C.J. McCollum remind me of? And I figured out it was Joe Dumars from the Detroit Pistons. Just does everything well. really doesn't have a real weakness to his game. He could play point guard. He could play shooting guard. He can, distribute the ball. He can penetrate. He's a leader. He's sort of the, I would say, spiritual leader, but the leader on the court, veteran, and they have the potential. Let's see, they won 26 games at the halfway point. They can win 50, 53, 54, 55 games and get 2-3 seed. It seems like very realistic and an outside shot at the number 1 seed, and that's just amazing. Their roster is just, they can bring in Najee. I mean, they can just keep going, 10, 11 deep, and they're just it's going to be fun. And you've had sellouts, which you traditionally didn't have in November and December for the Pelicans game. So January, February, March, April is going to be, probably a sellout most of the weekend games, and so it'll be fun. They'll make a nice run. They should make a run at the conference championship. So, and there's nothing like NBA playoff basketball when it comes to the atmosphere to that. So.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
WWL, home of the LSU Fighting Tigers. Always live on the free Odyssey app. To get to the bottom of the day's news.
To the bottom of the facts. From top to bottom.
Check in at the top of the hour.
At the top. What's going on?
Throughout the day.
Information in real time. What we know now.
The top stories.
The control of the Senate and the House. Ukraine. Nuclear threats. The worst in place in 40 years.
For top of the mind awareness.
Issues weigh on the minds of voters on what's next.
Your news talk sports leader.
Complex and uncertain world.
On top of the news.
At the top.
At the top of the hour.
Listen to this.
WWL.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, over-designed, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking it off right now. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I was just testing. Got it. It's gone.
Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's. So no callers so far.
Yeah.
If you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted candle, shave gel, also just 3 bottles, plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code FRIEND at checkout. That's harrys.com, code FRIEND. Enjoy.
NFL Wildcard Weekend is here, and the easiest way to get into the playoffs is with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Not number 2 or 3, but #1. New customers join today to get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with the promo code ABEAR. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. Plus, you can combine your bets for a chance at even bigger payout with a same-game parlay. All in an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So football fans, don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code ABEAR. That's HEBERT. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL and WWL Radio.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
If you've been diagnosed with lung cancer, God bless you. I am so sorry, but you need to know that your cancer may have been caused by asbestos, even if you're a smoker or you smoked. If you worked in HVAC, plumbing, a refinery, pipe fitting, factories, or even auto repair like I did, you need to be checked. I've had some breathing problems later in life, and I wonder if it was caused by the brake dust I was exposed to when I worked in auto repair in high school. Money's been set aside to help you and your family if asbestos did get you sick, and it's not going to hurt the company you work for or affect anybody's job. Now, there are a lot of firms out there that do this, but for Justinian Lane at asbestosclaims.law, it's not just business, it's personal. Justinian lost his dad and other relatives to lung cancer after exposure to asbestos, and that's why I decided to go with them. You can call 834-4-ASBESTOS or go to asbestosclaims.law to get tested. I did, and you should. Just call 833-4-ASBESTOS or go to asbestosclaims.law.
Southern Coins and Precious Metals wants your gold and silver. See today's prices at southerncoins.com.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code FRIEND at checkout. That's harrys.com, code FRIEND. Enjoy!
All things legal on WWL, AMFM.com, and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. All right, Albert, I'm going to hit you with this out of nowhere.
Doug, I'm having trouble hearing you. I don't know why.
Am I back? Am I back? Back? Let's see.
Yeah, that's better.
All right, we're back. Okay. I'm going to hit you with this. This is sort of out of nowhere. But 51 years ago today, on January 15th, 1972, heavyweight champion Joe Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Still having trouble hearing you, Doug.
I
don't know if you crank your mic.
I got you loud and clear.
We got Cullen said we're good. So
okay.
You got
all right. Might get some.
Yeah. So let me start over. On January 15th, 1972, Smokin' Joe Frazier retained his title by scoring a 4th-round TKO over Terry Daniels at the Rivergate Auditorium in New Orleans. Did you remember that? Joe Frazier?
I don't remember that.
Let's see. The challenger, Daniels, hit the canvas 5 times during his brief encounter. Promoter Herb Regis estimated the crowd to be at 7,500 people, which included George Foreman at ringside. The champ got $250,000, and Daniels received $35,000 for hitting the canvas 5 times. So I didn't realize that Smokin' Joe fought a championship bout right before George Foreman in New Orleans, in the Rivergate. So New Orleans used to be a big boxing town, and Willie Pastrana.
And it was a big boxing town. I mean, the NOAC had leagues, and I mean, boxing was a big big part of it. There were different tournaments and I had a good friend of mine, my roommate, boxed for years. Remember Bernie?
Bernie. He needed that when he was at NOPD.
Bernie was a boxer. He like the AAU leagues and all that kind of stuff. Now it's that violent kick him in the face and murder him kind of stuff. The whole MMA thing, I'm not a big fan of. I think it's a little too barbaric.
Yes. So, but you don't think of New Orleans as a boxing town anymore, but that happened 51 years ago. I thought that was pretty interesting. Okay, we're starting our 16th season at WWL. I figured that we only have 15 more to go to top Johnny Carson at 30. So this is weird, the halfway part.
That's right.
So, all right. Got a text. It's a good way to start the show. Good morning, Doug and Albert. Would you please talk about wills and selling estates? I have my beneficiaries for accounts and life insurance, but I don't know if the family members can be the executor of the estate. I leave my home to charity. My concern is the contents of the home. If I use an attorney as an executor, how are the contents going to be divided? So I threw a lot of issues there to you. Maybe we ought to parse it
Doug,
out.
do me a favor. Look, Doug.
Yes.
I think that headset that you have.
Yeah.
Is it a microphone too?
I got a microphone.
Yeah, because that's the one. The one that the handheld is the one. I think when you leaned into it, I could hear you better.
Okay. All right. There you go. All right.
Much better.
All right. So we have so basically the text that asked about first of all, let's parse this out. This has to do with estates. You have beneficiaries for accounts for life insurance. Now, let's talk a little bit about how life insurance policies, annuities, and other payable upon death devices work in connection with a will and an estate.
Well, I mean, they supersede the terms of the will. There's a contract between the decedent and the insurance company or brokerage firm or whatever the case may be, or your 401k or your retirement plan, and so that all falls outside of probate. And so whatever people come in and want to change their will, one of the first things I ask them is, when they want to write a will, hey, do you have these types of policies or beneficiary plans where you've named a beneficiary on a retirement account or 401k, et cetera. And because it has to be consistent, it's better that it's consistent. And again, it falls outside of it. So when we go to probate a will, we will then we will exclude those assets from distribution because you've already made a beneficiary statement for those life insurance policies. Regarding the attorney as an executor, I don't ever want to do it, and I don't really ever recommend it. It's going to be very expensive. You'll typically pay the attorney's rate for the time that the attorney spends as the executor, and they may not always know. They'll know the legal aspects of things, but they may not know the family dynamics. They may not know, where everything is, where the assets are, et cetera, et cetera. So, it's best to have a trusted family friend or a family member that, would be put into that position that can fairly distribute things. And the attorney is, people say, oh, I'm the attorney for the estate. Well, no, you're the attorney for the executor. It's, the estate is just a pleading. You're the attorney for the executor or executrix or the administrator or whoever's handling the estate. And you're guiding that person to make sure that either Louisiana law is properly applied if it's without a will, or that the terms of the will are carried out by you, and then also Louisiana law as to the gathering of assets, the preparing of a.
We do have a caller. If you want to take it,
that the executor,
who is it?
The administrator needs to do.
Greg, hurricane property damage.
Okay. Also, now let me ask you this about contents and how, as attorneys, we deal with it. Let's say mom and dad are gone, 4 children, and they got a house full of stuff, just that they accumulated over 60, 70, 80 years.
Right.
Now, it's really not realistic to get someone to appraise each table, each chair, each, bookcase. How does that distribution typically happen in that situation if you got 4 children?
So let me tell you a problem I had years ago. A pretty wealthy family lived by the lakefront. Dad died and did not have a will. So his assets fell through intestacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the way it works when someone passes away that is married, their children are heirs to their portion of the community property and all of that decedent's separate property. But the community property, which typically it is, mostly, unless they have some sort of prenup, or some sort of inheritance, but the community property then becomes subject to a usufruct in favor of the surviving spouse. So, mom lives another 5 or 6 years, and she decides she's going to write a will. So she's giving out this, and hey, I want this one to have this. I want this one to have this baccarat crystal. I want this one to have this, this, and this. Well, one of the heirs was, very difficult. Felt like he'd been passed over, et cetera, et cetera. And he said, you know what? Mom doesn't have the right to give away the baccarat crystal to one of my siblings because I own a portion of that from when Dad died. Dad died and left me, let's say there was 3 kids. I own 1/3 of my dad's half of that crystal vase. And so Mom doesn't have the authority, and she could leave her interest, and somebody else would have a larger interest in that crystal vase. But that's how minute you got down to, so we had to kind of sit down and work it out. And fortunately, he had a very good attorney, and the other attorney was,
Don't say anything. When he finishes, let's go to break, and then we'll come back for the caller.
That it was going to incur.
Yeah.
And so, we were able to say, kind of horse trade a little bit. How about if you do this, you do that? And,
that's what it would.
So what I typically write a will is I will have the spouse leave you typically the house, right, and then all of the contents
stays
with
with
the surviving spouse in full ownership. And that way, if Mom wants to give away the dining room set to such and such, she can do it. And we're not going to have this fight.
Before we go to break, what we typically, also is typically done is if you got 4 children, I'll give sticky pads. I'll give a blue sticky, green sticky, red sticky, and a yellow sticky, and we'll have a draft.
Yeah.
And say, okay, you go first, second, third, fourth, and that seems to work.
I'm the youngest of 9 kids, and that's what we did. We grouped things: living room set, dining room set, crystal, china. And my parents were not very wealthy, but after 50 years, they developed a decent amount of furnishings and contents, and so that was there. Here, we're going to pick names out of a hat to see who picks first, and then snake it all the way through. Like you said, it's like a draft.
Like a draft. Yeah.
You get what you get.
There you go. All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
WWL, home of your Saints and LSU. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Voters need to make their voices.
Okay, so yeah, we have Greg. I didn't get their location. I can ask if you want me to.
No, it's not right. No big deal. We're good.
They have some questions regarding hurricane property damage. They said their insurance company folded, and now they're dealing with another issue, but they're wondering if you guys can help.
Gotcha.
Every day.
They're making their voice.
And then obviously we have Justin.
Justin, yes.
Justin, who has a question regarding a neighbor of his that is filling potholes and wondering if that neighbor can legally do that.
My voice. WWL.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Now that we have started a new year, think about ways you can help the environment. First, make the switch to green soaps and personal products, and green cleaning products for the sink and shower. Use towels made from materials like organic cotton. And finally, make the switch to LED lights, which can last for many years and use very little power. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing? Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Don't forget about the environment when making New Year's resolutions. This year, resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans. Reuse paper and plastic bags and get a reusable bag for groceries. Recycle old clothes by donating them to charity. And recycle old electronics like TVs, computers, and cell phones at appropriate e-waste facilities. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things.
When we come back, we'll probably have enough time, depending on your answer, to get to Greg at least. I know Justin.
Let's take Greg first, okay?
But I think we start with Greg.
Cancer may have been
We're
caused
going
by
to take Greg
asbestos,
first, okay?
even if you're a smoker.
Unless, are you guys continuing with the wills and estates, or
No. I want to go with Greg next on the hurricane.
Like I did.
Perfect. No worries.
To be checked. I've had some breathing problems later in life, and I wonder if it was caused by the brake dust I was exposed to when I worked in auto repair in high school. Money's been set aside to help you and your family if asbestos did get you sick, and it's not going to hurt the company you worked for or affect anybody's job. Now, there are a lot of firms out there that do this, but for Justinian Lane at asbestosclaims.law, it's not just business, it's personal. Justinian lost his dad and other relatives to lung cancer after exposure to asbestos, and that's why I decided to go with them. You can call 834-4-ASBESTOS or go to asbestosclaims.law to get tested. I did, and you should. Just call 833-4-ASBESTOS or go to asbestosclaims.law.
There's never been a better time for football fans to join the huddle with BetMGM. Sign up today and place a $10 pre-game wager on any pro football team to win during the playoffs. If any player scores a touchdown in any pro football playoff game, you win $200 in free bets, regardless of your wager's outcome. Just use the bonus code MikeD200 when you make your first bet. Get on the field and find out why nothing beats a win at BetMGM. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions.
21 years of age or older to wager. Louisiana only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. First online real money wager only. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. In partnership with Sam's Town Shreveport Casino.
French Quarter for me, French Quarter for you, French Quarter Facades.
Are you remodeling your kitchen? French Quarter Facades Kitchen and Bath is at your service. We pride ourselves in things like customer service, innovative kitchen designs for any space, short lead times for cabinetry. We have ample cabinet lines that provide value at every price point, multiple paint and stain colors for cabinetry, including custom paint colors for that one-of-a-kind look. Come see us in Harahan today.
Is your Hurricane Ida insurance claim with your public adjuster stuck in neutral or going nowhere? Unfortunately, public adjusters do not have any enforcement powers to hold your insurance company accountable in a court of law. Many insurance companies will not deal with your Hurricane Ida insurance claim until a lawsuit is filed in court. We can help move your Hurricane Ida insurance claim across the finish line, even if you hired a public adjuster. Call me, Doug Sunseri, longtime WWL radio host and attorney at Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm in Metairie and Mandeville at 504-837-1304.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Now that we have started a new year, think about ways you can help the environment. First, make the switch to green soaps and personal products, green cleaning products for the sink and shower. Use towels made from materials like organic cotton. And finally, make the switch to LED lights, which can last for many years and use very little power. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing? Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Don't forget about the environment when making New Year's resolutions. This year, resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans. Reuse paper and plastic bags and get a reusable bag for groceries. Recycle old clothes by donating them to charity. And recycle old electronics like TVs, computers, and cell phones at appropriate e-waste facilities. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinions shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Greg. He's got a question regarding Hurricane Ida claim and his defunct insurance company. What you got for us, Greg?
Hello, sir. I believe it's two of y'all, correct?
Yes. Albert and Doug. Yes, sir.
Albert and Doug. Hello, y'all. I have a question. I had Southern Fidelity Insurance, and as everybody knows, in the middle of the rebuild, they pulled out, and now I'm dealing with LIGA, Louisiana Insurance Guarantee Association. They're the insurance of the insurance, if that's such a thing.
Good way of putting it. Yeah.
And yeah, they're well. Anyway, they're. I just talked to the guy yesterday. They're nickel and diming me. I had a public adjuster. I never did hire him, but he came in and I picked his brain a little bit because I needed to get information. And he asked if he could look around for a second. And sure enough, he looks in my top cabinet above the refrigerator, and there's mold all on the top of the cabinet. And I'm paralyzed. Both my parents have passed away. I'm paralyzed, and I live in the house in North Kenner by myself, and I can't even reach that cabinet. But anyway, they sent me some chump change in order to, quote, clean the cabinets. And I said, well, sir, there's mold growth on the cabinets. I said, aren't you going to take the cabinet out to see if any mold growth is behind the cabinet? And they're like, oh no, we're just going to just clean the cabinets. And then I started talking to them about the contents, because they never paid me one penny for the contents, like for my TV and my stove and my oven, my vent hood. That's all in the garage right now. It's been sitting in the garage since before Thanksgiving. My oven, I have no oven or stove because they've just dropped the ball on me. So I need some direction, and okay. He asked me if I hired an attorney, and I said no, not yet, but I'm about to.
All right, Albert, you take it.
Well, I mean, I think it's time, right? I mean, what's it been, a year and a half now almost? Yeah, I mean, listen, here's the deal with LIGA. LIGA is an insurance company just like any other insurance company. It's more of a reinsurance. It's a state-funded thing. And if you look at your bill, you'll see at the bottom, and it says the guarantee fund, and you might pay, I don't know, a couple $100 of your premium will go towards LIGA. And they bank the money for situations just like this when what's called an admitted company, meaning a company that pays into LIGA, goes belly up. Well, the problem with LIGA is to not invade the whole kitty, right? They can't be hit up for any bad faith penalties. And so, the adjusters know that, and so they're not gonna be as diligent, I think, as some of the others that may be hit up for penalties. And so that's one of the issues you're facing right now. On your content issue, number one, you have to establish that your contents were damaged, whether through photographs or whatever. And then that's the first half of it, right? Whenever we're dealing with this, we're always dealing with two aspects. The first aspect is, did the hurricane or the moisture intrusion, et cetera, cause the damage? Right, we're looking at the cause. The second thing is, how much does it cost to replace? And so you then have to get on the internet. Is the best way to do it. For each item that you claim, try to find a like item, and either type in that amount or put the link to it or whatever. Print a page of it to show with the dollar amount, and that way it's a pretty tight submission of your contents claim. And then it's going to be hard for them to refute, hey, this is what I had. Here's a picture of it. Here's what it is on the internet to replace it. Send me the money. Yeah. Send me the money.
Now, Greg, also too, you said you got some physical, limitations. Now, if you do hire an attorney, the attorney, or we would be glad to do it, is we would make a contents list for you. We would quantify all your damages for LIGA so that they could evaluate the damages in the language that they understand. So part of the dealing with the insurance company is how to feed the lion where they don't get indigestion, meaning if you use the same type of computer programs, the same type of metrics as the insurance companies, it's easier for them to compare apples to apples, oranges in order to get the payout. And right or wrong, it's a lot more digestible for them. So, you give us a call at 504-837-1304, 837-1304, and we'd be glad to help you. But the key to your insurance claim, especially at this part, with Louisiana Insurance Guarantee Association, is you have to put it in a format that it's understandable to them. And sort of, it's almost like when you're a kid, you're doing a book report. You want to have everything in place so when the adjuster evaluates your claim, all the metrics for evaluating the claim is in the same type of format that they're used to evaluating claims. Does that make sense?
Yes. And what I mentioned yesterday, because we've been talking about all the structural damage, and I brought up yesterday. I said, well, what about the receipts from an oven and from my TV and my computer that were damaged? And it's like, oh, well, we didn't even talk about content. I'm like, exactly. I said, because we're still on the structural part of the damages. I said, that's why. I said, we haven't even gotten to the content part yet. Yeah. I'm still, my fence is blown down in 2 areas of my entire backyard. I can't even get a service dog because the damn fence is down, and I don't have money because I'm on disability. I don't have money to.
When he finishes, take it away.
I don't have money saved. Number one, we can't even have money, a certain amount of money in our account because we're on disability. It's a joke.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing, Greg, is to get it all quantified in a way that you could make almost a single submission. We got to go to a hard break. Greg, give us a call at 837-1304, 837-1304. We'd be glad to talk to you more about it. Let's go to our break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. We'll be right back after this brief timeout. Hey, Colin.
WWL, the news talks.
Yes, sir.
We'll only have about 20 seconds. I mean, less than a minute on the next break. Minute and a half. Okay, we'll just go through it.
This break's gonna be. This break is actually really short, but I'll give you a precise amount when we get close to it.
May not be required.
And you'll just you could hype up the next hour, and then we can come swinging out the gate next hour with Justin.
Reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify.
Maybe say the number to call, and then we can get callers building up while we're in our news break.
Companies like to keep secret exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-663-1313. 800-663-1313.
We'll come back with a minute and a half, actually.
1313.
NFL Wildcard Weekend's here, and the easiest way to get into the playoffs is with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Hey, it's Tommy Tucker. New customers join today to get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with the promo code TOMMY. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line, the point spreads, the player props. Plus, you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. For this weekend, I love the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals to both win. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So football fans, don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code TOMMY.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP. Did you miss Medicare's annual enrollment deadline? You still could have a chance to enroll in a 5-star People's Health Plan with benefits starting on the first day of next month. For the second year in a row, People's Health earned a 5-star rating for Medicare. This tells you that People's Health is consistently considered a high-quality plan, one that keeps their members satisfied and helps them live healthier lives. Call 1-855-821-2666. That's 1-855-821-2666. Or visit peopleshealth.com.
This is an important notice to consumers.
When we come back, I think I'll do music and no rejoin.
Credit card, medical bills,
You
or
can just
other
take it away whenever.
unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-663-1313. 800-663-1313. That's 800-663-1313.
Demand different. Demand Dudley DeBosier. Imagine this. You've been hurt in a car crash, but the insurance company only offers you pennies on the dollar for what you need for your injuries. You realize you should have called a lawyer, but how can you afford one now? At Dudley DeBosier, that call is free, and we are the only law firm in the state with the no-fee guarantee. That means you pay us nothing, no fees, no costs, or expenses unless we get you money. That's the Dudley DeBosier difference. Call 504-444-4444. Chad Dudley, New Orleans.
LA 22-13578.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. We got about a minute before we go to national news, local news. Albert, real quick, we had Greg on the line. Basically, I think the issue is it's just getting those damages quantified in a fashion where the insurance company can, understand it and process it.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to me that this far into the game, there are people out there that have not hired an attorney or public adjuster or whatever to assist them with their claim. I mean, they're getting nowhere. They're getting, kicked down the road. And it's just amazing that they haven't hired someone else to do that. And I mean, we've been given advice for what,
year and a half,
16 months
on
what to do, how to get it moved forward, et cetera. And it's just amazing. At this point, you need to get it evaluated and get a suit filed, or get it, go to appraisal or whatever. There are many options, and we'll evaluate it and see what the best option is. But I just don't understand. I think people are like, well, I don't want a lawyer taking a big chunk of my claim, but they have to understand that.
Well, yeah, we'll see you in 10 minutes and all things legal after the news.
Sports Powerhouse. WWL New Orleans, WWL FM and HD1K New Orleans. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
I'm Christopher Cruz reporting from the Washington Bureau. Officials in California say heavy rains and flooding in the past few days have caused several deaths.
Governor Gavin Newsom says he knows people are weary.
People are fatigued about evacuation orders. They're just fatigued generally.
But please, he says, just hang on a little longer because more storms are on the way Monday. Mark Chenard is at the National Weather Service.
It's going to move across much of the state, especially the central and southern part of the state, maybe 2 inches in some of the more favored areas.
CBS's Linda Kenyon. President Biden this morning declared disasters in Autauga and Dallas counties in Alabama. 6 people were killed in the central part of the state last week when tornadoes roared through. A tornado destroyed Darrell Littleton's home, but he actually feels lucky.
I thought I had it bad, all the devastation, but when the reports started coming in, they were telling me how many lives got lost. That was just heart-wrenching.
Lawyers for President Biden have found more documents bearing classified markings in places they shouldn't be. More from CBS's Bo Erickson.
The admission of these latest documents comes after White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre insisted earlier on Thursday that the search for the classified documents was complete at the president's 2 homes in Delaware.
Heated word under oath from a former president.
Ex-President Trump's October testimony in a civil suit was recorded, and transcripts of parts of it have been made public. The
case involves a long-ago rape allegation against Trump, whose response under oath includes denials, angry insults, and threats to sue both the woman who accuses him, one-time magazine columnist E. Jean Carroll, and her lawyers.
CBS's Tom Foti. A knife attack last week on an Indiana University student has other Asian American students at the school worried, says WTTV reporter Eric Graves.
Police arrested 56-year-old Billy Davis. Court docs show Davis told police she targeted the victim because Davis thought she was Chinese. She told police, quote, "It would be one less person to blow up our country."
I immediately feel unsafe taking the bus.
Students Caitlin Wu and Jin Zhou wrote letters to the injured student, letting her know they're behind her.
I'm so sorry what happened.
At least 68 people have been killed in a plane crash in central Nepal. 72 passengers and crew were on the plane, among them 15 foreigners. The BBC's Caroline Davies.
Images of clouds of black smoke and flames have been posted on social media, allegedly from the crash site. Nepal has some of the world's most remote and difficult runways, and weather conditions in the mountains can change suddenly.
Egyptian authorities say archaeologists have unearthed an ancient tomb in the southern city of Luxor, known for its treasures dating back to the pharaohs. This is CBS News.
Nobody should have to pay for one-size-fits-all insurance coverage. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
You'd never knowingly feed your pup mystery meat or spoiled grocery store food, so why are those some of the most common protein sources in kibble today? Yep, the dog food ingredient meat meal can be made of spoiled supermarket meat and packing plant scraps.
I'm veterinarian Dr. Marty Goldstein. Your dog needs a biologically appropriate diet similar to what they would eat in the wild. That's why I developed Nature's Blend, a freeze-dried raw food made with premium cuts of meat, omega-3 rich seeds, and superfood veggies and fruit.
Bailey is 12 years old. He has been on your food for 9 bags now.
Nature's Blend is pantry safe and has 0 artificial preservatives, additives, filler, or meat meal.
He's got more energy, able to run around and play when our grandson comes.
For a limited time, save 54% off Nature's Blend and receive a free pack of premium dog treats. Go to drmartypets.com/Marty or text Marty to 511-511.
I can't thank you enough. He's 12 and I'm enjoying every day with him.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 1 additional text. Text stop to opt out.
WWL First News. I'm Tom Perumian on your official weather station, WWL.
It's a cold start to our morning, and we're looking at plenty of sunshine as we go through the morning and the afternoon hours. Our daytime highs are expected to reach the middle 60s today, and we'll have our winds out of the south, meaning the humidity will begin to increase as we go through the later afternoon hours. No rain in the forecast today, but clouds will continue to build as we head into tonight, so we'll expect partly cloudy skies with our overnight temperatures falling into the middle 50s.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan. Senator Bill Cassidy is proud of what he's accomplished for Louisiana over the past year. WWL's Kevin Gallagher reports.
The senator says he fought hard in 2022 to get needed disaster relief funds.
But $2.9 billion for Ida, $1.6 billion for Laura, $13 million for Delta.
He says he worked on coastal concerns as well.
We've gotten $683 million this year for coastal waterways and for flood protection.
And then there are infrastructure needs.
There was just $150 million announced for the Calcasieu River Bridge.
Cassidy's proud to have passed the No Surprises Law, preventing you from getting unexpected medical bills. He looks forward to bringing home more for Louisiana in 23. In the State Capitol Bureau, Kevin Gallagher, WWL First News.
Jazz trumpeter and convicted federal felon Irvin Mayfield has been released from prison after serving less than a year. Mayfield had been sentenced to 18 months for defrauding the New Orleans Public Library Foundation of $1.3 million. Mayfield's co-defendant and business partner Ronald Markham pled guilty in November 2020 to mail and wire fraud. They funneled money meant for the library for their personal use. In WWL Sports,
This WWL Sports Update is brought to you by People's Health. NFL fans were treated to 2 outstanding games yesterday to open Super Wildcard Weekend. First, the Seahawks and 49ers battled in the first half before San Francisco pulled away with a 41-23 victory, and the nightcap was unbelievable. If you thought the first game was a game of halves, the Chargers-Jaguars game put it to shame. Los Angeles vaulted out to an early 27-0 lead before Jacksonville started clawing back into the game. Led by quarterback Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars scored touchdowns on 4 straight drives to turn a 27-point deficit into a 30-28 game, and then this happened as time expired.
Matisic, the snapper. Cook, the holder.
Patterson sweeps the leg. 36-yard attempt. It is good. Jacksonville wins it.
Jaguars win 31-30. On to the second round for one of the best stories in the entire NFL. An exciting weekend of playoff football continues today, starting with the Bills versus the Dolphins at noon. Then we head out to Minneapolis, where the Vikings host the Giants at 3:30. And it all wraps up with Cincinnati versus Baltimore at 7:15. And remember, you can catch all the action right here on the home of the NFL, WWL. Charlie Long, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Cold start to our morning. We'll see our daytime highs in the middle 60s today with abundant sunshine. Now tomorrow, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be in the lower 70s and it'll be breezy. We'll see a weather disturbance move through the area Monday night into Tuesday, so looking for a 30 to 40% coverage for showers and thunderstorms. Tuesday afternoon, we're looking much drier. We'll begin to see the clouds clear with temperatures climbing into the upper 70s. On Wednesday, it will be a pretty warm day with our temperatures nearing 80 as we go through the afternoon, remaining breezy. A few showers are possible. Next cold front is expected to arrive Wednesday night into early Thursday morning, bringing scattered showers and thunderstorms to the area. From the Look Weather Forecast Center, I'm WWL-TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Tom Perumian, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back for hour number 2. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. Give us a call at 260-1870 or text us on the Oakland Heart Talk and Text line at 260-1870. We're back for our 16th year. I think when we started, George Bush was president back when, and the Saints were 2 years removed from us. I think, 2 years. No, they hadn't won a Super Bowl when we started. How about that? That was before the Saints won a Super Bowl. So, okay, real quick, LSU. I cannot go to a show without mentioning LSU. LSU basketball, we're not talking about. They lost by 40 points to Alabama. We're about 2 or 3 years away before we'll start talking about LSU basketball being competitive. But for you LSU baseball fans, 33 days to opening day. So we'll be counting that down.
LSU basketball, they were winning a bunch of games before SEC play, and then they were won like 5 in a row, and then they ended up losing 4 in a row. Now 5 in a row with the loss to Alabama. So they they had something going on, and
they were playing
just kind of fell apart.
They're playing a bunch of mid majors, and the SEC basketball is comparable probably to ACC now. If it may be better this year. It's from top to bottom, Auburn and Tennessee, and Kentucky's just mediocre this year, and they're Kentucky,
right?
So it'll be a long, a couple of years away for sure. So it's going to be a long year, but LSU baseball, they're consensus ranked number one. They have the best player in college baseball with Dylan Cruz, best all-around player by far. And so it could be one of those years. And, I tell people, LSU baseball is like the New York Yankees of college baseball. It really is. And so it's fun. And they will, I think they'll make a run to Omaha. That's still on my bucket list. I have never been to Omaha for the College World Series. I've been blocking out 2 weeks in June in my work schedule, hoping they would go for the last few years. And so I'm definitely blocking it out this year. So I think they will be there. All right.
There you go.
Colin, do we have anybody on the line? I forgot to ask.
Justin?
We got Justin? Okay, let's go to Justin on the line. Hey, Justin, you know all things legal. What you got for us, brother? Happy New Year. And
well, first
Well, Happy New Year. I haven't talked to you guys since last year.
Yeah. Well, that's
Hi,
right.
Doug and Albert. How y'all doing
Yeah,
over there?
last time you talked to us, Joe Biden was president, even though he may not have known he was president, but he was president. And so there you go.
Well, I want to give a shout out to your producer / call screener, Cullen.
Yeah.
I know who that is, and he's a great person to work with. He really is a nice guy.
He's keeping us on schedule, so
I
thank
have-
you, Colin. Yeah, he is. He's keeping us on. I always
I'm
say
telling about that.
a good board operator makes an amateur look less like an amateur. There you go.
I agree.
So,
well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
Go ahead.
this. What you have? What do you have, Justin?
Okay, I have a legal question.
Gotcha.
We all know about the pothole problem in New Orleans, right?
Is there a pothole? Is there a pothole problem in New Orleans?
Apparently so.
That's what I heard.
Is there a crime problem?
Neighbor.
Is there an infrastructure problem?
It's beyond a problem now. But anyway, my neighbor across the street, he decides to spend his own money buying concrete and starts filling the holes on the street next to me. Well, the other neighbor starts yelling at him, saying, "You can't do that," because I have to drive my truck. And let me tell you, my tires on my truck is $260 a pop. So I was very thankful. But my question is it legal for him to do that, to put a public street?
No. No, pretty much no. But again, is it legal for him? If you got the neutral ground on Canal Boulevard, is it legal for somebody to go get on a lawnmower and go cut the grass on the neutral ground? No, they don't own it. It's owned by the city. It's the city's responsibility. It's the city's property. If somebody's hurt on that property, it's the city's liability issues that come up.
Right. We got that.
Same thing with this. If you're out there filling the streets, the streets, and that all belongs to the city. And while, like you said, it might be a very nice thing that's happening. People used to do that in Lakeview all the time. They would get a load of rocks or a load of shells back when they did the shell dredging. And
I actually seen potholes
in the alleys. And people were thrilled,
right? I seen potholes still with a orange cone. Be careful, kind of thing. And it's gotten so bad. Now I'm not going to try to get my neighbor in trouble for doing that. But you're telling me that he can't even cut the grass on the neutral ground because the city can't afford it. He can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I think they would turn a blind eye and nobody would care, and nobody's going to arrest them for it, But I mean, you take on some liability when you do that. And if he wants to do that, take on the liability, then, God bless him. It's only improving things.
Justin, I just got a text from City Hall, and Mayor Cantrell has denied that there's a pothole problem. And it's just,
See, now you're pulling my leg.
No.
Again,
She says we just, taking one or two potholes and just blowing it up into a big thing just to make her look bad. So it's about her. So it's really not about potholes. So.
Well, I heard about the pothole killer. You've heard of that little truck, and it drops asphalt up and down the street. I haven't seen that thing in 3 years. I mean, what happened to that?
I don't know. Oh, I just got another text. She says she's doing the work. She's doing the work, and we just don't know she's doing the work.
God bless those people. I love those texts. That's funny. Well, look, y'all have a great new year. Enjoy the day and get my potholes fixed, will you?
That's it. Yeah. All right. The last time I did drive in New Orleans, it was raining. And so you couldn't see the potholes because I don't drive enough New Orleans uptown to know where which streets to avoid and not to avoid. So when we got to the destination, I said, we just took a pretty big hit on the pothole, and a local said, well, you should know never to go down Calhoun on this particular block. So people have all the potholes scouted so that they can maintain the integrity of their car. So
there's a website called Look at This Effing Street, and it spells it out. And it is photographs from around the city of potholes and big chunks missing. And one of them you'll pull up and it's like there's water in it, and there were 2 or 3 ducks in the pothole. Another one, like a tree is growing out of the pothole. It's hilarious. It's sad is really what it is.
Yeah,
but it's making light, making fun of it. But it's called, Look at This Effing Street.
Yeah, I'm sure they got a fishing hole also probably too. So
yeah, of course, yeah. But that's that's what we've come to.
All right.
I remember there was that big sinkhole on Canal Street for the longest time.
Yes.
And nobody ever did anything about it.
Yes.
And it became May 5th, and they, a group of people got around and, celebrated Sinkhole de Mayo. And they went and, had like a little party around the sinkhole to bring attention to the fact that the city has done nothing to make the repairs.
I'll say this again. If you don't think there's potholes, don't listen to my next announcement. And if you're happy with the potholes, you're happy with the crime, you're happy with the lack of infrastructure, you're happy with the drainage, don't listen to the next 15 seconds. But if you're in favor of a recall, go to NOLA, NOLATOYA.org, NOLATOYA.org. If you feel bullied after signing up for the recall, call the Secretary of State Compliance Office at 800-722-5305. So just while we're speaking about potholes. All right, we've been jumping around. Let me take a text and we'll talk about some Hurricane Ida issues later. But it says, we were talking a little bit about wills and usufructs, and maybe Albert, you can explain this. Can a person who's been granted a usufruct over separate and or community property also be granted the power to sell that property without the consent of the naked owners, or as we say it in Bucktown, naked owners? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Okay, yeah. So the usufruct comes from the Latin word, two Latin words. Usus, meaning you get to use it, and fructus, which is Latin for fruit. And so you get the civil fruits of the usufruct. So if it's a house, a rent house, you as the usufructuary get the rental income from that. You get the income from an investment account. The income becomes yours to use and do whatever you want with. In a will, or in a some other type of document granting a usufruct, you can do it outside of a will while you're still alive, and grant someone a usufruct. And along with that usufruct, you can make it clear that the usufructuary has the right to sell non-consumables. A non-consumable is essentially real estate or immovable property. And again, they'll have the right to do so without the consent of the naked owner. You can put that in a usufruct or in a document establishing a usufruct, and it's perfectly legitimate. In fact, if you don't, then the naked owner's consent is required because they actually own it.
Now, let me ask you this. Did they teach you the Latin at St. Paul? Did you learn usufruct in the Latin at St. Paul, or where did you learn that?
I don't know. Over the years, I'm 61 years old. I
didn't know. I didn't know if Brother Ken got on. Sort of.
No. I didn't do the Latin thing. But anyway, so that's essentially it. And so you get to use it, and you get the civil fruits. But it's not yours, and it has to be returned to the naked owners upon termination of usufruct.
Yeah, because I will tell you this. Now, I have to say this about De La Salle in Latin, because I'm flashing back to 8th grade. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, because De La Salle is a wonderful school. But when I was in 8th grade, my parents talked me into taking Latin. I wanted to take Spanish. And to make it worse, my teacher, God rest his soul, had just immigrated from China. So I was. So
wow.
Yeah. So the problem was pretty apparent that I was being taught Latin by someone who just immigrated from the Far East, which I did have some trouble at it. So therefore, that's why I'm not up to the Latin roots like you are there. So, but anyway, okay. As far as use now again for usufructs, typically, and when there's a estate that is without a will, okay, and you got mom and dad and you got children, and that's estate without a will, it's intestacy, and mom and dad passes, and the children, and and then the surviving spouse wants to sell the house, and one of the children doesn't allow or sign off on mom wanting to sell the house. That's a problem. And if you could explain how that problem could be addressed in a will.
Well, a lot of things that can be addressed in the will. One, you can confirm the usufruct for life. So it's called an 890 usufruct when there's not a will. And by operation of law, the Civil Code Article 890 states that upon the death of a spouse, that spouse's community property becomes subject to a usufruct in favor of the surviving spouse. And so what happens is it prevents the naked owners from forcing mom out of the house or forcing mom to sell the house through some sort of partition. But the opposite is true. If you don't confirm a usufructuary's rights to dispose of non-consumables.
We can go to break after this. We got some callers.
Or sell, assets subject to a usufruct. And so this puts limits, on the usufructuary. Most people, it works out great. Mom's still alive. The kids kind of understand that, hey, mom's got authority to do this. It's essentially her property and daddy's property. We're not going to interfere. But you do have those situations with fights between siblings, or fights, with the surviving parent, or worse yet, the surviving second spouse, right? Because the 890 usufruct applies to their community property as well. So, so you want to make things very clear in your will how you want that usufruct to operate. And then you can also confirm a usufruct for life. So if you don't confirm that in a will, the usufruct only lasts until the surviving spouse's remarriage. And so, mom remarries all of a sudden, okay, the theory was back in the day, your dad's probably going to die before mom, because that's typically what happened. And mom didn't work. Mom was a housewife, et cetera, back, when all this stuff was created. And so the theory was that, hey, look, we're gonna give you a usufruct until you remarry and some other man can take care of you, right? I mean, that was kind of the logic behind it from 100 plus years ago. So that's still kind of the case, whether it's male, female, whichever way it goes, that when you get married again, okay, you got to give up the house, or the kids can now say, okay, you got to move out.
Yeah.
And so unless the usufruct's confirmed for life, then that option takes place down the road.
All right. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
WWL, home Saints legends Bobby Hebert and Deuce McAllister. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's been a week.
Kevin McCarthy. Alrighty, Doug, you there?
Yeah.
Border myself.
Okay, so we got Mike from Kenner, who's got a question regarding insurance. And then following that, we have Paul, who also has a question regarding insurance.
This was discovered before the last election. The appointment of a special counsel for this matter.
Stay with us throughout the weekend.
We also had, if you want to get back on the air and say it, we had a woman call in saying that you guys were talking about LSU basketball a lot, and you were not mentioning the fact that the women's basketball team is currently 16-0.
I will do that.
From pandemic to
I'll do that.
inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com/sports, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com/sports. That's getrefunds.com/sports.
Bobby Hebert, Cajun Cannon here. Look, football fans, call your own plays during the NFL playoffs with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because when you bet NFL same-game parlays from now through January the 16th, all customers get up to $100 in free bets, win or lose. All you have to do is place a total of $20 or more on NFL SGP or SGP Plus bets during the wild card round. The more you bet, the more you'll get back in free bets. Build your own wild card weekend same-game parlay. For example, quarterback over passing yards, wide receiver anytime touchdown, running back over receptions. If you're new to FanDuel Sportsbook, you can also get up to $100 in free bets, win or lose, when signing up with the promo code Hebert. That's promo code Hebert, HEBERT. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL and WWL Radio.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $100. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
If you've been diagnosed with lung cancer, God bless you. I am so sorry, but you need to know that your cancer may have been caused by asbestos, even if you're a smoker or you smoked. If you worked in HVAC, plumbing, a refinery, pipe fitting, factories, or even auto repair like I did, you need to be checked. I've had some breathing problems later in life, and I wonder if it was caused by the brake dust I was exposed to when I worked in auto repair in high school. Money's been set aside to help you and your family if asbestos did get you sick, and it's not going to hurt the company you work for or affect anybody's job. Now, there are a lot of firms out there that do this, but for Justinian Lane at asbestosclaims.law, it's not just business, it's personal. Justinian lost his dad and other relatives to lung cancer after exposure to asbestos, and that's why I decided to go with them. You can call 834-4-ASBESTOS or go to asbestosclaims.law to get tested. I did, and you should. Just call 833-4-ASBESTOS or go to asbestosclaims.law.
Monthly subscriptions now available. RejuveMeMedical.com.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com/sports, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time.
Back in 10.
Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com/sports. That's getrefunds.com/sports.
All things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on WWL and Odyssey Station. Connect now on the York Winhart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, you weekend lawyers. Albert, I don't think you know I have a direct line, text line to City Hall, and when we talk about it, they respond back. But we're talking about potholes, and the mayor's office said that potholes are actually created by Lee Zorich to make her look bad at press conferences. And so, there you go. But she said she's monitoring the situation from a French quarter apartment, and she's keeping a close eye on it. So I feel better about that.
Yep, always.
Also, we got a call about the LSU basketball. I neglect to mention LSU's women's basketball 16-0. The great Kim Mulkey is just kicking butt up there, and she is got this team ready for a Final Four appearance. And if you ever watch the games, you ever watch her outfits? Like, you ever see, she's got the wildest outfits. You know, it's a cross between,
right.
Like, it looks like she could go to a Mardi Gras parade ball any day, you know, as a basketball coach. So she's got great outfits. They're fun to watch, and she does a wonderful job, and she's going to bring a national championship. So keep up the good work on LSU basketball. And let's go to phone lines as we transition to Mike. And Kenner's got some questions regarding Hurricane Ida insurance claim. What you got for us, Mike?
Hello, good morning. How y'all doing?
Good.
Good morning.
Good.
Okay, I got about 3 questions, all in one, all about insurance. I was with UPC, and of course, you know, they went under.
Well, they're not under yet. They're not under yet. They're withdrawn from the state, but they're not under.
That's what they're doing, right?
Yes.
So anyway, to make a long story short, I was with UPC for many years, and obviously they canceled me and everybody else that I guess was with them. Question number 1, are you all familiar with any companies that are kind of reasonable, kind of like they were other than Citizens, because that's who I'm with now? That's question number 1. Question number 2 is it legal for Citizens to just keep going up on their rates, like pretty much at will?
Let me ask you.
Question number.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No. Go. Question number 3.
And the last question, the very last question is, when you're ordering insurance from a broker, can you, as a client, decide what coverage you want? Like, say your house is $300,000 or whatever. You have $300,000 worth of mortgage, but you may have paid it down and there's only $100,000, and you may say, I just want $100,000 worth of coverage. Can you do that? And that's it.
Let me ask you the first question. Were you in the military?
Never.
Or what about a family member?
No.
Okay. Because I would suggest USAA. They are writing some. But Albert, do you know any companies that are writing right now?
I really don't. In fact, I got a good friend. In fact, he's been on our show before a couple of times. And I'd asked him, he's an insurance broker over at Martin Insurance Agency. And he said that, no, he said it's pretty much just Citizens at this point. And so, the easy answer in terms of Citizens, can they go up on the rates? Well, so there's a rating commission and all this sort of thing with the state, and they have to approve their rates. But the rates are just based on experience, and the rates are based on claims paid, and the rates are based on all of these other factors. Where are you in a low-lying area? Just zip codes and things like that. So, they're a quasi-state entity, which means that they do have, it's kind of a partnership between the private and the public sector, talking about Citizens. And they have to be able to pay their bills, right? And they have to be able to set their reserves. A reserve is, look, we've got your house evaluated at X.
You don't have to say anything, but I wanted to let you know that Paul, the next caller, his insurance question is not regarding hurricane, it's just auto insurance.
Claims in the event that, there's another catastrophe in the next few years. So yes, the answer is they do have the right to raise it. It's all governed by, Jim Donovan's office and the rating commission and all that sort of thing. But, they can't lose money. I mean, so it's just been a very expensive process. And it's unfortunate for people who have been bumped from their coverage, or their coverage has just gone sky high. And then I guess your third question was, can you insure for less? in terms of mortgage. You're going to have to work that out with your mortgage company. I doubt that they would let you do that. I think they're going to want the full value insurance because they have as much at risk as you do. Now, granted that the mortgage is paid down, so from 300 it's now 100. You may be able to talk to them and kind of negotiate a $200,000 deal. But the problem with doing that is when you purchase that insurance, there's something in the insurance provision called a co-insurance clause. Okay, so if you've got a house, not the lot, but the value of building the house is $300,000, then you've got to insure your property. Some are 80%, some are 90%, most are 80%. They have to be 80% insured to value. So what that means is you've got to at least insure it for $276,000 at a $300,000 value, because that would be 80%. Otherwise, if you only have it insured for 50%, then there's a formula where they're going to pay your damages, but they're going to reduce it by a percentage because you didn't insure that property up to its value. So you kind of don't want to do that anyway. Now,
I say we finish out this one. You still have a couple minutes, but let's not go to the next caller. We'll just, when this naturally ends, go to break and then circle back to the next caller after break.
Just not paying it at all, and taking the risk myself because my insurance is so high on my house that, and I've God bless me, I haven't had any real damages in the last number of storms. So, do you want to run that risk? Yeah, there are certain types of policies. You can have a fire policy and things like that that can protect you and just exclude wind and hail. And you buy the next roof if there's a hailstorm, or if there's a wind claim, you buy all those damages. Now, will your mortgage company allow you to do that if your house has a mortgage? That's something you got to deal with.
Okay. All right, Mike, you got helpful? I think it was. All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
WWL, home of WWL First News Early Edition with Dave Cohen. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Today, catch an NFL Super Wildcard tripleheader. Dolphins at Bills, Giants at Vikings, then Ravens at Bengals. It all starts today at 11:30 a.m. on WWL and the free Odyssey app.
If you've been diagnosed with lung cancer, God bless you, I am so sorry, but you need to know that your cancer may have been caused by asbestos, even if you're a smoker or you smoked. If you worked in HVAC, plumbing, a refinery, pipe fitting, factories, or even auto repair like I did, you need to be checked. I've had some breathing problems later in life, and I wonder if it was caused by the brake dust I was exposed to when I worked in auto repair in high school.
More context, Doug. It was an accident that happened to Paul's wife a couple months ago, and the insurance company's being a little rough.
Okay.
And not
firms out there that do
helpful.
this, but for Justinian Lane at asbestosclaims.law, it's not just business, it's personal. Justinian lost his dad and other relatives to lung cancer after exposure to asbestos, and that's why I decided to go with them. You can call 834-4-ASBESTOS or go to asbestosclaims.law to get tested. I did, and you should. Just call 833-4-ASBESTOS or go to asbestosclaims.law.
Hi, Sarah. I'm sorry I'm late. The traffic is crazy.
Yeah, it is. And it doesn't help that gas prices have skyrocketed. I can't believe how much it costs for gas now.
Everyone's talking about how much gas is, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app, and I get cash back for every gallon of gas I buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid real cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yeah, real cash every time I buy gas.
What? That sounds like it could really add up.
I've made around $200 already.
Wow, that's serious extra money. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app. Earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CAR57 for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CAR57 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus in your first tank. That's code CAR57 for 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
There's never been a better time for football fans to join the huddle with BetMGM. Sign up today and place a $10 pre-game wager on any pro football team to win during the playoffs. If any player scores a touchdown in any pro football playoff game, you win $200 in free bets, regardless of your wager's outcome. Just use the bonus code MikeD200 when you make your first bet. Get on the field and find out why nothing beats a win at BetMGM. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions.
21 years of age or older to wager. Louisiana only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. First online real money wager only. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 in partnership with Samstown Shreveport Casino.
For Mardi Gras supplies, head to Jefferson Variety Stores, specializing in specialty beads, throw beads, trinkets, boas, masks, hats, and plenty more at Jefferson Variety Stores. Open 7 days a week. Visit them at 239 Iris Avenue in Old Jefferson or online at jeffersonvariety.com.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 475-2323.
LA 121 12674. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Call 475-2323.
Hi, Sarah. I'm sorry I'm late. The traffic is crazy.
Yeah, it is. And it doesn't help that gas prices have skyrocketed. I can't believe how much it costs for gas now.
Everyone's talking about how much gas is, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app, and I get cash back for every gallon of gas I buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid real cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yeah, real cash every time I buy gas.
What? That sounds like it could really add up.
I've made around $200 already.
Wow, that's serious extra money. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CAR57 for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CAR57 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus in your first tank. That's code CAR57 for 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
If you're injured in a car crash, never settle for less than you deserve from the insurance company. And don't settle for just any law firm. Demand Dudley DeBosier. It's always our goal to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. And with our no-fee guarantee, you pay us nothing. No fees, no costs, or expenses unless we get you money. Call now and we'll review your case for free. That's the Dudley DeBosier difference. Call 504-444-4444. That's 504-444-4444. Chad Dudley, New Orleans.
LH 22-13579.
All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nico and Sunseri now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line. 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Paul's got a question regarding his auto insurance and a claim. Hey, Paul, what you have for us, brother?
Yes, sir. My wife was involved in an accident back November 18th. A guy ran a stop sign, totaled my wife's vehicle. They picked up the car, they brought it to New Orleans, and it's been sitting over there. But the problem we're running into is the insurance hasn't paid us anything. They totaled the vehicle, but they're not taking care of us. My wife keeps calling every day, and we're not getting any answer or anything from the insurance company about what they're going to do. All they told us, they totaled the vehicle, and that's it. And it's been almost 2 months now.
So that's a real problem for them, and the reason is because there's some penalty statutes that apply specifically to property damage to auto vehicles, automotive vehicles, and their failure to pay timely, their failure to put you in a rental car. There are a lot of things that go along with that. They have to pay a penalty for not doing this, and that. Where did you bring the vehicle for repairs?
we didn't bring it anywhere. We had it brought to a salvage yard when the accident happened. A tow company came and picked it up, brought it to their place, and then that guy's insurance company called and contacted us, asked us if it was okay to go pick the vehicle up to bring it to their place so they could assess the damages on the vehicle. So we told them yes. So they took it to their place to assess the damages. They called and said the vehicle was totaled, but then we haven't heard anything else. They won't get my wife a rental car because they're saying that because of the insurance that the guy had, he didn't have enough coverage. They wanted to make sure that he had enough coverage to cover not only my wife's vehicle that's totaled, but also the vehicle that was also the other vehicle involved that hit him. So there's 3 vehicles involved. The guy ran a stop sign, hit my wife, and then the guy that was behind my wife in the truck hit him.
Well, okay,
So
let me ask you 2 questions. Do you have, in your coverage, do you have rental car insurance?
I don't think so.
Do you have?
I think I just have.
Okay.
I don't have uninsured motors either. I just have the basic full coverage that I needed on the vehicle being covered because it's financed, but also because I have other vehicles. I have 2 other vehicles on that policy.
All right, Albert. Why don't you talk about uninsured motors coverage and how that interplays?
Yeah, but let me ask you this: was your wife injured in the accident at all?
We got another caller, James. Something about his mother's property. We can try to get to him if you want to. If not, no worries. I can pass on your information, your firm's information, but we'll just play it by ear. You can take the reins and I'll follow.
You have to have for property damages.
But I'll still try to push you out in like 3 or 4 minutes so that we can make it on time.
They would So what will happen is there are 2 vehicles involved in the accident with the tortfeasor or the person who ran the stop sign. So there's something called a concursus that the insurance company ought to employ. And basically, hey, look, these damages exceed $25,000 between the 2 vehicles. We're going to just file something with the court, put the money in the registry of the court, and let y'all go fight about who's entitled to what portion of the $25,000. That's one thing that they can do, and that's one of the problems I think that you're going to have is if it was just your vehicle, they would have written you the check for the $25,000, right away. But the fact that there's another vehicle that was following your wife that hit this vehicle that caused that accident, and yeah, they've got to figure out what the damages are and try to apportion those damages between both of y'all. So that's been something that's been kind of delaying the process to get you paid. And unfortunately, this may end up being an underinsured accident in terms of liability of the other driver, because if he's only got 25 in coverage, you scratch a bumper these days and it's $3,000 to fix. So there may not be enough coverage. There's likely not enough coverage for both vehicles. Now, if there was an injury involved, that's a separate portion of the policy. My guess is that driver probably had the minimum $15,000 limit. So that's a separate type of coverage. And so there would be damages available under that, assuming that the other driver didn't file a personal injury claim or didn't sustain any damages too, because then you're back in the same boat. You're apportioning those damages among the injured people in 2 different vehicles. So there is something called uninsured motorist coverage, which I preach about as often as I can, because we get these situations all the time where someone's got a substantial injury, and people are riding around out there with no coverage. People are riding around out there with minimum coverage, which is not enough to pay your rehab, your rehab or your emergency room visit. So we tell people all the time it's a very small amount for what you get in terms of coverage for yourself, for your personal injuries, for your vehicle, for your property, etc. I would try to dust myself off and move forward with your insurance agent and say, hey, look, we want to purchase a policy, or at least get a quote on it, see if you can afford it, because now you're in a situation where you either got to sue this person personally to try to collect this money, and you're going to have a hard time finding lawyers that want to do that. And then you're also going to, have to pay for the damages yourself that the insurance company, is up to the amount that the insurance company doesn't pay. So it's a valuable thing, this UM coverage and UM property coverage, uninsured motorist coverage. And I recommend it all the time because the biggest expense in an auto policy is your liability coverage. The UM coverage is a smaller fraction of that.
All right. Thanks for the call. Let's go to our final break. It's Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
WWL, home of WWL First News with Tommy.
You want to come back and try to get this caller, or do you want to just power?
What's her question?
The bigger your 401k, the better your retirement.
It's something involving their mother's property. I can go back and reassess.
How many minutes do we have?
If I'm gonna put it bluntly, they were kind of hard to understand.
Okay, let's move on. Just give our
savvy investors are turning to.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
A new 401k law that
I mean, you'll be back next week anyway. It's not like last time where you had a month between shows.
Savings from inflation and a stock market downturn, while boosting your retirement income as much as 40%. It's all laid out in simple language in a new book from Josh Melberg. His insightful guide is your roadmap to retiring with confidence, and it's yours free with one call. Don't risk a lifetime of work building your retirement. This little-known retirement protection plan could safeguard your wealth and boost your retirement up to 40%. For your free copy of Guarantee Your Retirement by Josh Melberg, call now. Call 800-820-3301. That's 800-820-3301. 800-820-3301.
NFL wildcard weekends here, and the easiest way to get into the playoffs is with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Hey, it's Tommy Tucker. New customers join today to get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with the promo code TOMMY. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line, the point spreads, the player props. Plus, you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. For this weekend, I love the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals to both win. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So football fans, don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code TOMMY.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code SPORTS at checkout. That's harrys.com, code SPORTS. Enjoy.
Hey, Slidell, we want your stuff. DependableStorage.com.
The bigger your 401k, the better your retirement, right? Wrong. The fact is, with proposed new taxes, another market crash, inflation, and rising healthcare costs, you could be forced to downsize your retirement. Discover the secret savvy investors are turning to for retirement security.
All right, I passed on the info. It's just going to be you guys rounding it out for probably 4.5, 5 minutes.
From inflation and a stock market downturn, while boosting your retirement income as much as 40%. It's all laid out in simple language in a new book from Josh Melberg. His insightful guide is your roadmap to retiring
with confidence, and it's yours free with one call. Don't risk a lifetime of work building your retirement. This little-known retirement protection plan could safeguard your wealth and boost your retirement up to 40%. For your free copy of Guarantee Your Retirement by Josh Melberg, call now. Call 800-820-3301. That's 800-820-3301. 800-820-3301.
All things legal on WWL, AMFM.com, and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. All things legal. And just stay tuned. WWL is a home for your NFL football. Today's Super Wildcard Weekend continues with triple header. First up, Dolphins and Bills. Game 2, Giants and Vikings. And Game 3, the Ravens and versus the Joe Burrow, Chase, Cincinnati Bengals. It's the Bengals. The LSU Bengals. How about that? They've got a bunch of LSU players on their team. Albert, just real quick, about 3 minutes. Hurricane Ida claims. Where are we with them? And as far as the court system's concerned.
Well, I mean, at this point, if you're like the caller in the first hour, and you still haven't had your property evaluated, and you still got a tarp on your roof, and you haven't done any major repairs, it needs to be done as soon as possible. The longer you wait, the more the insurance company can then argue that you failed to mitigate your damages or make your damages less. So you want to get that in the system as quickly as you can, and then you put the insurance company on the clock to either pay the damages or pay an undisputed portion of the damages. You want to get it done by a professional that's going to put it in an Xactimate type format that they can go apples to apples and compare. And it's time to file suit. It's time to get this thing to a conclusion. Waiting around is only going to make your claim harder to prove once you get to that point where you might want to hire an attorney.
What about what about if you have a public adjuster and you're sort of stuck in neutral and not going anywhere?
Well, with the public adjusters, I've heard your ad, they can't file suit, and what they want to do is they want to for the vast majority want to refer you to some lawyer in Galveston, Texas, that to come in or Florida somewhere, and a lot of those public adjusters now are in Florida, so they're not responding to your calls or your claims or your whatever. So it's best to get somebody local that knows the courts, familiar with the judges, familiar with the processes here and the procedures locally, that have experience.
I think also too the topography of New Orleans. I mean, because to understand New Orleans and difference between the winds on the Kenner, Jefferson Parish St. Charles line versus somewhere else, because you were maybe 10 miles from the eye wall. And
exactly.
And
I had a similar situation in Katrina, where this expert that they hired from out of state said that the flooding came from the London Canal and went into Lakeview, and I'm like, you do realize there's another canal in Lakeview that would have prevented those levees would have prevented anything coming from that direction. So your expert's an idiot because he doesn't know the terrain.
There you go.
We ended up settling that case.
All right, so we'll be back next week on All Things Legal. Y'all have a great week. See you then.